The world unfolds before you like the petals of a lotus at dawn. Each moment a delicate revelation, each event a whisper of something deeper. You walk through life, and sometimes it feels as though the ground beneath your feet is uncertain, the path ahead obscured by mist. Yet in the stillness of your heart, there is a knowing, a quiet understanding that nothing happens by chance, that every leaf that falls, every breeze that stirs, every tear that spills is part of a vast, intricate tapestry. You may not always see the pattern, but it is there, woven with threads of meaning so fine they escape the eye but not the soul. Consider the forest, dense and alive, where sunlight filters through the canopy in scattered beams. Each tree grows where it is planted, each root reaching deep into the earth, each branch stretching toward the sky. The seed does not question why it has fallen where it has. It simply grows. It does not resist the soil, nor does it resent the shade of its neighbors. It accepts its place in the forest, and in that acceptance, it finds its purpose. You too are like that seed. Your life is not a random scattering of events, but a deliberate unfolding, a journey guided by unseen hands. When you resist, when you struggle against the currents of your existence, you create turbulence within yourself. But when you surrender, when you allow the river of life to carry you, you find peace. There is a story of a monk who sat by the river every day, watching the water flow. One day, a villager approached him and asked, "Why do you waste your time staring at the river? Does it not bore you?" The monk smiled and replied, "The river is my teacher. It shows me how to live." The villager was puzzled. "What can a river teach?" The monk said, "It teaches me to let go. The water does not cling to the rocks. It flows around them. It does not mourn the past. It moves forward. It does not fear the future. It simply is." You too can learn from the river. When you hold on too tightly to what has been or what might be, you create suffering within yourself. But when you release your grip, when you allow life to move through you, you find freedom. Life is not a straight line, but a spiral, winding ever inward, ever upward. Each turn brings you closer to the center, to the essence of who you are. Along the way, you will encounter challenges, joys, sorrows, and triumphs. Each of these is a teacher, a guide, pointing you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and the world. You may not always recognize the lesson in the moment, but in time, the meaning will reveal itself. Like the seasons, life moves in cycles. Winter gives way to spring, darkness yields to light, and sorrow is followed by joy. Each phase has its purpose, its place in the greater rhythm of existence. When you resist the season you are in, you disrupt the natural flow. But when you embrace it, when you allow yourself to be fully present in the moment, you align with the harmony of the universe. There is a tree that stands alone on a windswept hill, its branches bent and twisted by the force of the gales. It does not fight the wind. It bends with it, finding strength in its flexibility. You too can learn from this tree. Life will bring storms, moments when the winds of change threaten to uproot you. In those times, flexibility is your greatest ally. When you resist, you break. When you bend, you endure. And when the storm passes, you find that you have grown stronger, your roots deeper, your branches more resilient. In the heart of the desert, there is a flower that blooms only once every few years, its petals a vivid splash of color against the barren landscape. It does not lament the scarcity of rain or the harshness of the sun. It simply waits patiently for the right conditions to arise. And when they do, it bursts forth in a celebration of life, a reminder that even in the most challenging environments, beauty can flourish. You too are like that flower. There may be times when your life feels barren, when the conditions for growth seem absent. But trust in the process. Trust that the right moment will come, and when it does, you will bloom with a brilliance that surprises even yourself. The universe speaks to you in whispers, in signs, in synchronicities that are easy to overlook if you are not paying attention. A chance encounter, a dream, a song that lingers in your mind. These are not random occurrences, but messages from the deeper currents of existence. When you quiet your mind, when you listen with your heart, you begin to hear them. You begin to see the connections, the threads that bind all things together. And in that seeing, you realize that you are not separate from the world, but an integral part of it, a single note in the symphony of life. There is a mountain that stands tall and silent, its peak often shrouded in clouds. From a distance, it appears unchanging, eternal. But if you climb it, you discover that it is alive, constantly shifting, constantly becoming. The rocks erode, the streams carve new paths, and the vegetation grows and dies in an endless cycle of renewal. You too are like that mountain. On the surface, you may appear steady, unchanging, but within you, there is a constant movement, a constant process of becoming. You are not the same person you were yesterday, nor will you be the same person tomorrow. Embrace this impermanence, for it is the essence of life. It is what makes growth possible, what makes transformation inevitable. In the stillness of the night, when the world is quiet and the stars shine brightly, you may feel a sense of awe, a sense of connection to something greater than yourself. This is the essence of the Buddhist teaching that nothing is separate, that all things are interconnected. The stars, the earth, the air you breathe, the thoughts that arise in your mind, all are part of the same web of existence. When you understand this, you begin to see that every action, every thought, every word has a ripple effect, touching everything around you. You begin to see that your life is not an isolated event, but a thread in the fabric of the universe. There is a bird that sings at dawn, its melody a greeting to the new day. It does not sing because it expects a reward or because it seeks recognition. It sings because it is its nature to sing. You too have a song within you, a unique expression of your being. It may be quiet, hidden beneath layers of doubt and fear, but it is there, waiting to be heard. When you allow yourself to sing, when you express your true nature without reservation, you align with the flow of life. You become a vessel for the divine, a channel for the creative energy that moves through all things. The path to inner peace is not a destination, but a journey, a continuous unfolding of awareness. It is not about escaping the world, but about seeing it with new eyes, with a heart open to the beauty and mystery of existence. It is about understanding that every moment, every experience is a gift, an opportunity to grow, to learn, to deepen your connection to the world and to yourself. When you live with this understanding, you find that life is not something to be endured, but something to be cherished, to be celebrated. You find that every breath is a blessing, every step a dance, every heartbeat a reminder of the miracle of being alive. The world unfolds as a vast, silent symphony, each note precise, each movement deliberate, though its purpose may elude you. You stand at the edge of a forest, its canopy swaying gently in the breeze, and you wonder why the trees grow as they do, why the leaves fall when they must, why the roots dig deep into the earth where they are needed. There is no randomness here, only an intricate choreography, a dance of existence that has been in motion since the first breath of time. And you too are part of this dance. Though your steps may feel uncertain, your rhythm out of sync, yet even in your hesitation, there is meaning. Even in your stillness, there is motion. Consider the lotus rising from the mud, its petals unfolding in the morning light. It does not question the dirt from which it emerges, nor does it resist the water that surrounds it. It simply grows as it must, as it was meant to. The mud is not an obstacle, but a necessity, the very foundation of its beauty. So too are the challenges you face, the moments of darkness, the seasons of uncertainty. They are not mistakes or punishments. They are the soil from which you will bloom. You may not see the purpose now, but the lotus does not see its own petals until they open. Trust in the process, even when the process is unclear. Life flows like a vast meandering river, winding through valleys and over rocks, carving its path with quiet persistence. You may stand on its banks and wonder why it moves as it does, why it bends here and rushes there. why it seems to slow in some places and rage in others. But the river does not question its course. It simply follows the contours of the earth, shaping the land as it goes. You too are carried by this current, though you may resist it, though you may try to swim against it. But what if you allowed yourself to float, to trust the water's wisdom? What if you understood that every twist and turn, every eddy and rapid, is part of a greater design, a design that holds you even when you cannot see the shore? There is a deep peace in surrender, not to defeat but to understanding. The seasons do not cling to their leaves. They let them fall when the time is right. The moon does not resist its waning. It simply becomes full again when its cycle is complete. And yet you often hold tightly to what you cannot keep, fight against what you cannot change. You mourn the loss of summer without seeing the beauty of autumn's gold, the quiet stillness of winter's snow. But life is not a single season. It is the turning of the wheel, the endless cycle of growth and decay, of light and shadow. To resist this is to resist the very essence of existence. You may ask why some things happen, why pain is part of the journey, why joy can feel so fleeting. But these questions arise from a mind that seeks to control, to categorize, to make sense of the senseless. The truth is that meaning does not always reveal itself in the moment. It unfolds over time, like a story written in a language you are still learning to read. The pain you carry today may become the strength you need tomorrow. The joy that slips through your fingers may return in a different form, like a bird that leaves the nest only to return with new songs. Nothing is wasted, nothing is without purpose. In the stillness of meditation, you may begin to hear the whispers of this deeper truth. It is not loud or forceful. It is soft, like the rustle of leaves in the wind, like the distant hum of the earth itself. It reminds you that you are not separate from the world, but woven into its fabric, a thread in the tapestry of existence. Your joys, your sorrows, your triumphs, your failures, they are all part of this greater whole, all contributing to the beauty of the design. And when you can see yourself in this way, as both the weaver and the thread, the dancer in the dance, a profound sense of peace begins to settle within you. This peace is not the absence of struggle, but the understanding that struggle too has its place. It is not the denial of pain, but the recognition that pain, like all things, is impermanent. It is not the rejection of change, but the acceptance that change is the very nature of life. When you can hold these truths in your heart, when you can see the world as it is, without judgment or resistance, you begin to align with the flow of existence. You begin to understand that nothing happens by chance, that everything is as it should be, even when it is not as you would wish it to be. And so you return to the forest, to the river, to the lotus, and you see them anew. You see that they are not separate from you, but reflections of your own journey, reminders of the wisdom that already resides within you. The forest does not question its growth. The river does not resist its flow. The lotus does not fear the mud. They simply are, and in their being, they teach you. They remind you that you too can simply be, that you too can trust in the unfolding of your life, in the meaning that is already there, waiting to be discovered. In this moment, as you breathe in the stillness, as you feel the earth beneath your feet, as you listen to the whispers of the wind, you begin to understand that nothing is random, that everything is connected. You begin to see that your life is not a series of accidents, but a story written with intention. A story that is still being written, a story that is yours to live. And in this understanding, there is a quiet joy, a deep peace, a sense of belonging to something greater than yourself. It is not something you need to seek, it is something you already are. It is the truth of your existence, the truth that has always been there, waiting for you to see it. The world unfolds before you like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread woven with intention, though the pattern may not always be clear. You stand at the edge of a forest, the trees swaying gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets of time and patience. The forest does not rush to grow, nor does it resist the changing seasons. It simply is, rooted in the earth, reaching for the sky, a living testament to the flow of existence. And so it is with your life. Each moment, each event, a stitch in the fabric of your being, each one necessary, each one meaningful, even when the meaning eludes you. Consider the way a river carves its path through the land. It does not question the rocks it encounters, nor does it lament the bends and turns that shape its course. It flows, persistent yet yielding, finding its way to the sea. You too are a river, moving through the landscape of your life. The obstacles you face, the detours you take, they are not mistakes, nor are they punishments. They are the very things that shape you, that guide you toward the vast ocean of your potential. And just as the river does not know the sea until it arrives, you may not yet see the purpose of your journey, but trust that it is there, waiting to reveal itself in its own time. There is a quiet wisdom in the way the seasons change, each one a reminder of the impermanence of all things. The leaves fall, the snow blankets the earth, the flowers bloom, and the sun burns brightly, each phase a necessary part of the cycle. You too move through seasons of your own. There are times of growth and times of decay, times of warmth and times of cold. It is easy to cling to the moments of abundance, to resist the periods of loss, but the seasons teach us that nothing is permanent and that every phase has its purpose. The barrenness of winter prepares the earth for the rebirth of spring, just as the challenges you face prepare you for the growth that lies ahead. In the stillness of a quiet morning, when the world is hushed and the air is fresh, you may find yourself reflecting on the events of your life. The joys, the sorrows, the triumphs, the failures. They all seem to blend together, forming a mosaic of experience. It is in these moments of reflection that you may begin to see the threads of meaning woven through your story. A chance encounter that changed the course of your life, a setback that led to an unexpected opportunity, a loss that opened the door to a deeper understanding of love. These are not random occurrences. They are the universe's way of guiding you, of shaping you into the person you are meant to be. The Buddhist concept of karma teaches that every action, every thought, every intention has a consequence. It is not a system of punishment or reward, but rather a law of cause and effect. The seeds you plant today will bear fruit in the future, and the choices you make now will shape the path that lies ahead. But karma is not a burden to carry. It is a reminder of your power to create, to influence, to grow. Each moment is an opportunity to plant seeds of kindness, of wisdom, of compassion. And though you may not see the fruits of your actions immediately, trust that they will ripen in their own time. There is a profound peace in accepting that nothing happens by chance. It is a peace that comes from knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, even if the path ahead is unclear. It is a peace that allows you to let go of the need to control, to surrender to the flow of life. Like a leaf floating on the surface of a stream, you are carried by the current, trusting that it will take you where you need to go. And though the journey may be unpredictable, it is also beautiful, filled with moments of grace and wonder. In the quiet moments of your day, when the noise of the world fades away, you may feel a sense of connection to something greater than yourself. It is a feeling that cannot be put into words, a knowing that transcends thought. It is the recognition that you are part of a larger whole, a single thread in the vast tapestry of existence. And in this recognition, you may find a deep sense of peace, a sense of belonging to the flow of life. The challenges you face, the joys you experience, the people you meet, they are all part of a greater design, a design that is unfolding in its own time. You may not always understand the purpose of the events in your life, but trust that they are leading you towards something greater. Like a river flowing to the sea, like a tree growing toward the sun, you are moving toward your own fulfillment. And in the end, when you look back on your journey, you will see that every step, every twist and turn was necessary, was meaningful, was part of the beautiful, intricate pattern of your life. You walk through the forest of your thoughts, where the trees are tall and ancient, their roots intertwined with the earth of your memories. Each step you take is soft, as though the ground itself is listening, absorbing the weight of your presence. The air here is thick with the scent of pine and damp soil, a reminder that life is both fragrant and decayed, both growth and return. You pause for a moment, and in that stillness, you notice something. The forest does not judge itself. The fallen leaves do not lament their descent. The saplings do not hurry to become trees. Everything here moves in its own rhythm, as if each moment has been waiting for its own arrival, and each moment knows precisely when to leave. This is the way of things, the way of your life, though you may not always see it. You have often wondered if the events of your days are random, if the joys and sorrows are scattered like seeds by a careless hand. But what if they are not? What if each moment, each encounter, each twist in the path is not a mistake but a thread in a tapestry so vast and intricate that your mind cannot yet comprehend it? The forest does not question the falling of a branch or the arrival of a storm. It simply adapts, bends, and grows in response. It trusts the process, even when the process is painful. Think of the river you once sat beside, its water smooth and unbroken, reflecting the sky with perfect clarity. You watched as a leaf fell into the current, carried away without resistance. The leaf did not struggle against the flow. It did not demand to go upstream or question why it had been chosen for this journey. It simply moved, trusting that the river knew where it was going. And yet, if you had followed that leaf, you would have seen it caught in an eddy, spun in circles for a time, before being released again to continue its path. Even in its stillness, it was moving. Even in its uncertainty, it was guided. Your life is like that leaf. You may feel caught in an eddy, spinning in place, unable to see the way forward. You may wonder if you've been forgotten, if the river has left you behind. But the river has not forgotten you. It is simply waiting for the right moment to carry you onward. And in that waiting, there is meaning. The eddy is not a punishment. It is a pause, a chance to rest, to reflect, to gather strength. When the time is right, you will move again, and you will understand why you had to stay. There is a story told in the mountains where the air is thin and the silence is deep. It speaks of a traveler who lost his way in a storm. For days he wandered, cold and hungry, certain that he would perish in the wilderness. But one morning, as the sun rose over the peaks, he stumbled upon a small hut. Inside he found food, warmth, and shelter. Years later, he returned to that place, only to find that the hut had never existed. Some say it was a vision, a gift from the mountain itself. Others say it was the work of a kind spirit, but the traveler knew the truth. The hut was always there, waiting for him, even if he could not see it until he needed it most. This is the nature of your journey. What seems like a detour, a mistake, or a moment of despair may be leading you to a place you could not have found any other way. You do not need to understand it all right now. You do not need to see the full picture. Trust that the path is unfolding as it should, even when it feels unclear. The mountain knows where you are going, even if you do not. There is a word in an ancient language that means to hold space. It is not about fixing or changing or even understanding. It is simply about allowing the moment to be what it is, allowing yourself to be where you are. When you hold space for your life, you create room for meaning to emerge. You let the river flow without trying to control it. You let the forest grow without trying to shape it. And in that letting go, you find peace. You have known pain. You have known loss. You have stood at the edge of the abyss and wondered if you could go on. But you have also known joy. You have known love. You have felt the sun on your face and the wind at your back. These moments are not separate. They are part of the same whole, the same river, the same forest. You cannot have one without the other, just as you cannot have light without shadow or sound without silence. And in this balance, there is harmony. Sit with this thought for a moment. Let it settle into the quiet places of your heart. You do not need to do anything with it. You do not need to act or decide or plan. Simply let it be. Like the leaf on the river, like the traveler in the storm, like the forest that grows without haste, you are exactly where you need to be. The meaning is already there, waiting for you to see it. And when you are ready, it will reveal itself, not as a grand revelation, but as a gentle whisper, a knowing that has always been there, hidden in the silence of your soul. The world unfolds before you like a vast, unbroken tapestry, woven with threads of light and shadow, joy and sorrow, beginnings and endings. Each moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is a stitch in this intricate design. You might wonder, as you move through the days, why certain events occur, why some paths open while others close, why some encounters leave you changed while others pass like a breeze through the branches. Yet if you pause and allow yourself to settle into the stillness within, you may begin to sense that nothing is as arbitrary as it first appears. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not act without purpose. Every ripple in the river of your life, every twist in the path, carries a meaning that is both profound and subtle, waiting to be understood. Consider the way a tree grows. It does not question the soil in which it is planted, nor does it resist the changing seasons. In spring, it bursts forth with tender leaves and blossoms, embracing the warmth of the sun. In autumn, it releases its foliage without struggle, trusting in the cycle of renewal. The tree does not judge the process. It simply allows itself to be. And in this surrender, it finds its strength, its roots deepening, its branches reaching ever higher. You too are part of this natural rhythm, though it may be harder to see when you are caught in the current of your own thoughts and desires. Yet if you can step back, even for a moment, you might notice how each experience, each challenge, each joy is a part of your growth, shaping you in ways you could not have anticipated. There is a quiet wisdom in the way the seasons turn, in the way the moon waxes and wanes, in the way the tides rise and fall. These cycles remind us that change is not only inevitable, but necessary. They teach us that there is a time for everything, a time to sow and a time to reap, a time to hold on and a time to let go. And yet, in the midst of this constant flux, there is a deeper stillness, a quiet center that remains untouched by the passing of time. This is the place within you that knows without needing to understand that everything is as it should be. It is the place where you can rest, even when the world around you is in motion. You might ask, how can this be true in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain? How can there be meaning in the pain you have endured, the losses you have suffered, the dreams that have slipped through your fingers? These questions are natural, born from the part of you that seeks to make sense of the unknown. And yet the answers you seek may not come in the form of explanations or reasons. They may come as a quiet knowing, a sense of peace that arises when you stop resisting what is and instead allow yourself to be present with it. For in every moment, there is a gift, even if it is not immediately apparent. The gift may be a lesson, a deeper connection with yourself, or a shift in perspective that opens your heart to new possibilities. Think of the way a river flows. It does not try to change its course. It simply moves with the contours of the land, carving its path over time. It encounters obstacles, rocks, fallen trees, bends in the terrain, but it does not stop. It finds a way around, through, or over, always moving forward. And in this movement, it shapes the landscape, creating valleys, canyons, and fertile plains. Your life, too, is a river, and the challenges you face are like the rocks and bends in its path. They may seem like barriers, but they are also opportunities to grow, to adapt, to discover new strengths within yourself. Each obstacle is a teacher, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. There is a story told in Buddhist tradition of a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors came to console him, saying, "What bad luck?" The farmer simply replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors exclaimed, "What good luck!" Again, the farmer said, "Maybe." Later, his son tried to ride one of the wild horses and was thrown, breaking his leg. The neighbors lamented, "What bad luck?" The farmer's response was the same, "Maybe." Soon after, the army came to draft young men for war, but the son's injury spared him. The neighbors declared, "What good luck?" And once more the farmer said, "Maybe." This story is a reminder that life is not as simple as it seems. What appears to be good fortune may turn out to be a challenge, and what seems like misfortune may lead to unexpected blessings. The farmer's wisdom lies in his acceptance, his ability to remain open to the unfolding of events without attaching to judgments or outcomes. You too can cultivate this kind of openness, this willingness to meet life as it is, without clinging to ideas of how it should be. It does not mean that you must be passive or indifferent. Rather, it is an invitation to engage with life from a place of curiosity and compassion, rather than fear or resistance. When you can approach your experiences in this way, you may begin to notice how everything is interconnected, how each event is a piece of a larger pattern, even if you cannot see the whole picture. And in this noticing, you may find a sense of peace, a trust in the process of life that allows you to move through it with greater ease. There is a beauty in the unknown, in the mystery of what lies ahead. It is like standing at the edge of a forest, the trees stretching endlessly before you, their secrets hidden in the shadows. You cannot see what lies beyond, but you can feel the pull of the path, the invitation to step forward and discover what awaits. This is the essence of life, a journey into the unknown, guided by the wisdom of your own heart. Each step you take, each choice you make, is a part of this journey, a part of the unfolding of your story. And though you may not always understand the twists and turns, you can trust that they are leading you exactly where you need to go. As you move through your days, take a moment to pause and breathe. Feel the rhythm of your own life, the ebb and flow of your thoughts and emotions. Notice how everything is in motion, yet there is a stillness at the center of it all. This stillness is your true nature, the part of you that is always at peace no matter what is happening around you. It is the place where you can rest, where you can find clarity and insight. And from this place, you can begin to see the deeper meaning in your experiences, the thread that connects them all. You can begin to trust that nothing is random, that everything has its place in the tapestry of your life. And so, as you continue on your path, remember that you are not alone. The universe is with you, guiding you, supporting you, even when you cannot see its hand. Each moment is a gift, an opportunity to grow, to learn, to deepen your connection with yourself and the world around you. And in this connection, you may find a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging that brings you closer to the truth of who you are. For in the end, the journey is not about reaching a destination, but about embracing the beauty of the path itself, with all its twists and turns, its joys and sorrows, its light and shadow. And in this embrace, you may discover the peace that has always been within you, waiting to be found. The world unfolds before you like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread woven with intention, though the pattern may not always be clear. You stand at the edge of a forest, the trees swaying gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets of time and patience. The forest does not rush to grow, nor does it resist the changing seasons. It simply is, rooted in the earth, reaching for the sky, a living testament to the flow of existence. And so it is with your life. Each moment, each event, a stitch in the fabric of your being, each one necessary, each one meaningful, even when the meaning eludes you. Consider the way a river carves its path through the land. It does not question the rocks it encounters, nor does it lament the bends and turns that shape its course. It flows, persistent yet yielding, finding its way to the sea. You too are a river, moving through the landscape of your life. The obstacles you face are not mistakes or punishments. They are part of the journey, shaping you, guiding you, teaching you. When you resist, you create turbulence, a churning of the waters that obscures the clarity of your path. But when you surrender to the flow, you find a quiet strength, a deep knowing that all is as it should be. There is a story of a monk who sat by a stream, watching the leaves float by. One leaf caught his attention, spinning in an eddy, trapped in a circle of water. He reached out to free it, but as soon as he did, another leaf took its place. He tried again and again, but the stream continued to bring more leaves. Finally, he sat back and smiled, realizing that the stream was not meant to be free of leaves, just as life is not meant to be free of challenges. The leaves were not obstacles to be removed. They were part of the stream's natural rhythm. And so it is with your own life. The challenges you face are not interruptions to your peace. They are invitations to deepen your understanding, to grow in wisdom, to find peace not in the absence of difficulty, but in the midst of it. You may wonder why certain events unfold as they do, why some paths are smooth while others are fraught with hardship. The mind seeks answers, craving certainty, but the heart knows that not all questions need answers. Sometimes the meaning of an event is not in its explanation, but in its experience. A storm may seem destructive, but it also brings rain to nourish the earth. A seed must break open to grow, and in the same way, you may need to be broken open to discover the fullness of your being. Trust that even in the darkest moments, there is a light, a purpose, a thread of meaning that connects all things. Think of the way the seasons change, each one necessary for the cycle of life. Winter may seem barren, but it is a time of rest, of gathering strength for the growth to come. Spring brings renewal, summer abundance, and autumn release. Each season has its role, its beauty, its lessons. Your life, too, moves through seasons, each one offering its own gifts. The moments of joy and the moments of sorrow are not opposites. They are part of the same cycle, each one enriching the other. When you embrace the season you are in, you find a deeper harmony, a sense of alignment with the rhythm of existence. There is a quiet power in acceptance, a strength that comes not from control but from letting go. Imagine a bird perched on a branch, its feathers ruffled by the wind. It does not fight the wind. It simply adjusts its wings, finding balance in the movement. You too can find balance in the winds of change, not by resisting, but by adapting, by trusting that the wind is not your enemy, but your ally, guiding you to new heights. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means recognizing that you are part of something greater, that your life is a dance with the universe, a co-creation of meaning and purpose. In the stillness of meditation, you may glimpse the interconnectedness of all things, the way each moment is a reflection of the whole. A single drop of water contains the essence of the ocean, and a single moment contains the essence of eternity. When you sit in silence, you begin to see that nothing is random, that everything is part of a larger pattern, a cosmic dance of cause and effect. The events of your life are not isolated incidents. They are threads in a vast tapestry, each one contributing to the beauty of the whole. Even the moments that seem insignificant are imbued with meaning, for they are part of the unfolding of your soul's journey. You may not always understand the why of things, but you can trust the how. How you respond to each moment, how you meet each challenge, how you embrace each joy. These are the choices that shape your path. The meaning of your life is not in the events themselves, but in the way you live them, the way you weave them into the fabric of your being. When you approach each moment with presence and openness, you become a co-creator of meaning, a participant in the dance of existence. As you walk through the forest of your life, remember that every step is part of the journey, every breath a reminder of the flow. The trees do not question their place in the forest, nor do the stars question their place in the sky. They simply are, and in their being, they fulfill their purpose. You too have a place in the grand design, a role to play in the unfolding of the universe. Trust that nothing is random, that everything has meaning, and that your life is a beautiful, intricate part of the whole. In this trust, you find peace, a deep knowing that all is well, that all is as it should be. You sit by the edge of a quiet forest, the kind where the trees seem to breathe in unison with the earth. Their roots intertwine like the threads of a vast, unseen tapestry. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of damp soil and pine, and the light filters through the canopy in soft, golden streaks. It is here in this stillness that you might begin to notice something. A whisper, a rhythm, a pattern that seems to hum beneath the surface of all things. Nothing is random. Nothing is without purpose. Even the falling leaf, spiraling in its descent, follows a path that is both inevitable and exact. Consider the river you once watched, its waters rushing over stones, carving their way through the land. You may have thought it chaotic, the way it twists and turns, the way it seems to resist the pull of gravity at times. But the river knows where it is going. It does not struggle against the rocks. It flows around them, finding its way with a quiet certainty. The river does not ask why it must move. It simply moves, trusting the unseen currents that guide it. And so it is with life. The events that unfold around you, the joys, the sorrows, the unexpected turns, they are not arbitrary. They are the river's stones, the bends in its path. Each one has a place in the greater flow. You might wonder, as you sit here, why certain things happen, why the loss, the pain, the moments that feel like they have no reason. But reason is not always something you can see in the moment. It is like the seed buried deep in the earth, invisible to the eye, yet holding within it the promise of a tree. You cannot know its shape or its size until it breaks through the soil, until it reaches for the sun. So too, the meaning of your experiences may remain hidden for a time, waiting for the right conditions to reveal themselves. Trust in this. Trust that even the darkest moments carry within them the potential for growth, for transformation. Think of the seasons, how they shift and change without resistance. The trees do not cling to their leaves in autumn, nor do they fear the cold of winter. They surrender, knowing that spring will come again. There is a wisdom in this surrender, a deep understanding that life is a cycle, a dance of beginnings and endings. You too are part of this dance. The moments you wish to hold on to, the ones you wish to push away, they are all part of the same rhythm. And just as the seasons do not judge themselves, neither should you judge your own journey. Each step, each misstep, is a part of the whole. There is a story told in Buddhist teachings of a farmer whose horse runs away. His neighbors say, "How unlucky." But the farmer replies, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returns, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors say, "How fortunate." Again, the farmer replies, "Maybe." His son tames one of the wild horses, but is thrown and breaks his leg. The neighbors say, "How unlucky." The farmer says, "Maybe." Soon after, the emperor's army comes to conscript young men for war, but the son is spared because of his injury. The neighbors say, "How fortunate." The farmer says, "Maybe." The story goes on, each event a thread in a larger tapestry, each judgment a reflection of the mind's desire to make sense of the moment. But the farmer, in his wisdom, understands that meaning is not always visible in the present. It unfolds over time, like a flower opening to the sun. You too can cultivate this perspective. It does not mean denying pain or pretending that everything is perfect. It means seeing beyond the surface, beyond the immediate reaction, to the deeper currents that flow beneath. It means trusting that even in the midst of chaos, there is order. Even in the midst of suffering, there is peace. This is not a peace that comes from outside, from changing circumstances or controlling outcomes. It is a peace that comes from within, from the understanding that everything is as it should be, even when it feels otherwise. Imagine yourself as a mountain, steadfast and unmoving. Storms may rage around you, winds may howl, but you remain rooted, anchored in the earth. The storm does not define you. It is simply passing through. You are not the storm. You are the mountain, vast and eternal. And just as the mountain does not resist the weather, neither must you resist the events of your life. They are not you. They are simply part of the landscape, part of the flow. When you can see this, when you can feel it in your bones, you begin to find a kind of freedom, a freedom from the need to control, to understand, to know. You begin to rest in the certainty that all is well, even when it is not. This is not a passive acceptance, a resignation to fate. It is an active trust, a deep knowing that life is unfolding exactly as it should. It is the understanding that every moment, every experience is a teacher, a guide, a stepping stone on the path to wholeness. Even the moments that feel like setbacks, like failures, are part of this journey. They are the stones in the river, the bends in the path. They are not obstacles, but opportunities to grow, to learn, to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you. And so, as you sit here in the quiet of the forest, let yourself feel this truth. Let it settle into your bones, into the very core of your being. Nothing is random. Nothing is without purpose. Everything is connected. Everything has meaning. You do not need to see it all at once. You do not need to understand it all. You only need to trust in the flow, in the cycle, in the greater tapestry of which you are a part. And in this trust, you will find peace. Not a fleeting peace, but a lasting one. A peace that comes from knowing that all is as it should be, that all is well. The world unfolds before you like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread woven with intention, though the pattern may not always be clear. You stand at the edge of a forest, the trees swaying gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets of time and patience. The forest does not rush to grow, nor does it resist the changing seasons. It simply is, rooted in the earth, reaching toward the sky, a living testament to the flow of existence. And so too does your life unfold, moment by moment, each event a stitch in the fabric of your being. Nothing is random, though the meaning may elude you for a time. The forest does not question why the wind blows or why the rain falls. It accepts, and in that acceptance, it thrives. Consider the way a river carves its path through the land. It does not fight the rocks that block its way. It flows around them, over them, through them, shaping the earth as it moves. The river does not ask why it must encounter obstacles, nor does it lament the twists and turns of its journey. It simply flows, trusting in the inevitability of its course. And yet in its movement, it creates valleys, nourishes life, and carries the stories of the land to the sea. Your life, too, is a river, and every challenge, every joy, every moment of stillness is part of its flow. The rocks are not there to hinder you, but to shape you, to guide you toward the vastness of the ocean that awaits. You may find yourself standing at a crossroads, uncertain of which path to take. The mind, ever restless, may whisper doubts, urging you to question your choices, to fear the unknown. But pause for a moment and listen to the silence beneath the noise. In that stillness, you may sense a deeper knowing, a quiet assurance that the path you are on is the one you are meant to walk. The crossroads is not a place of confusion, but a moment of alignment, a reminder that every step you take is part of a greater journey. The forest does not question the direction of its growth. It simply grows, trusting in the wisdom of the earth and the sun. There is a profound beauty in the way the seasons change, each one a reflection of the cycle of life. The leaves fall in autumn, not as a loss, but as a necessary release, making way for new growth in the spring. The winter, though cold and barren, is a time of rest, of gathering strength for the renewal that lies ahead. And the summer, with its warmth and abundance, is a celebration of life in its fullness. Your life, too, moves through seasons, each one with its own purpose, its own lessons. The moments of loss, of stillness, of joy, they are not separate but part of a continuous flow, each one giving meaning to the next. You may wonder why certain events unfold as they do, why some paths are smooth while others are fraught with difficulty. The mind seeks answers, but the heart knows that the questions themselves are part of the journey. The forest does not ask why the storm comes. It bends with the wind, knowing that the storm, too, has its place in the cycle of life. The river does not resist the drought. It deepens its bed, preparing for the rains that will come. And so too can you find peace in the unfolding of your life, trusting that every moment, every experience is part of a greater whole. There is a story in every leaf, in every stone, in every breath you take. The world is alive with meaning, and you are a part of its story. The forest does not need to understand the purpose of each tree to know that it belongs. The river does not need to see the ocean to know that it is moving toward it. And you too do not need to have all the answers to know that your life is unfolding as it should. The meaning is not always in the destination, but in the journey itself, in the way you move through the world, in the way you embrace each moment with openness and grace. As you walk through the forest, feel the earth beneath your feet, solid and steady. Listen to the rustle of the leaves, the song of the birds, the whisper of the wind. These are not random sounds, but a symphony of life, each note a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. You are not separate from this world. You are a part of it, woven into its fabric, shaped by its rhythms. The forest does not judge the trees for their differences. It celebrates their diversity, knowing that each one has a role to play. And so too can you embrace the uniqueness of your own journey, knowing that it is part of a greater tapestry. The river flows, the forest grows, the seasons change, and so too does your life move forward, moment by moment, step by step. There is no need to rush, no need to resist. The meaning is not in the destination, but in the journey itself, in the way you embrace each moment with openness and grace. The forest does not question its purpose, it simply is. The river does not resist its course, it simply flows. And you too can find peace in the unfolding of your life, trusting that every moment, every experience is part of a greater whole. In the stillness of the forest, in the flow of the river, in the changing of the seasons, there is a wisdom that speaks to the heart. It is a wisdom of acceptance, of trust, of knowing that nothing is random, that everything has its place in the tapestry of life. You are not separate from this wisdom. You are a part of it, shaped by it, guided by it. The forest does not need to understand the purpose of each tree to know that it belongs. The river does not need to see the ocean to know that it is moving toward it. And you too do not need to have all the answers to know that your life is unfolding as it should. The world is alive with meaning, and you are a part of its story. The forest, the river, the seasons, they are not separate from you, but a reflection of the flow of your own life. In their movement, in their stillness, in their acceptance, there is a wisdom that can guide you if you are willing to listen. The forest does not question the direction of its growth. It simply grows, trusting in the wisdom of the earth and the sun. The river does not resist the rocks. It flows around them, shaping the land as it moves. And you too can find peace in the unfolding of your life, trusting that every moment, every experience is part of a greater whole. As you walk through the forest, feel the earth beneath your feet, solid and steady. Listen to the rustle of the leaves, the song of the birds, the whisper of the wind. These are not random sounds, but a symphony of life, each note a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. You are not separate from this world. You are a part of it, woven into its fabric, shaped by its rhythms. The forest does not judge the trees for their differences. It celebrates their diversity, knowing that each one has a role to play. And so too can you embrace the uniqueness of your own journey, knowing that it is part of a greater tapestry. The river flows, the forest grows, the seasons change, and so too does your life move forward, moment by moment, step by step. There is no need to rush, no need to resist. The meaning is not in the destination, but in the journey itself, in the way you embrace each moment with openness and grace. The forest does not question its purpose. It simply is. The river does not resist its course. It simply flows. And you too can find peace in the unfolding of your life, trusting that every moment, every experience is part of a greater whole. In the quietude of dawn, when the world is still wrapped in the soft embrace of night's remnants, you may find yourself standing at the edge of a vast, tranquil lake. Its surface mirrors the pale hues of the emerging sky, And for a moment, the boundary between earth and heaven dissolves. You breathe, and in that breath, you sense the stillness that pervades all things. The stillness that is not emptiness, but a profound fullness waiting to be noticed. This is where you begin to see nothing happens by chance, and everything carries meaning, even if it eludes your grasp at first. Consider the way a single leaf falls from a tree. It does not plummet in haste, nor does it resist the gentle tug of gravity. It spirals, dances, and drifts, as though the air itself is guiding it to its resting place. You may wonder why it lands here and not there, why it crosses your path at this precise moment. But the leaf does not question its journey. It simply moves with the rhythm of existence. In its descent, there is no urgency, no fear, only the quiet acceptance of its place in the grand tapestry of life. And so too, you are invited to trust the currents that carry you, to see them not as random forces, but as threads woven into a larger design. Life, like the seasons, unfolds in cycles of growth, decay, and renewal. You have known the warmth of summer's abundance, the crisp clarity of autumn's release, the stillness of winter's introspection, and the fragile hope of spring's rebirth. Each season arrives in its own time, not a moment too soon or too late. Yet how often do you resist the natural flow, clinging to what has passed or yearning for what is yet to come? You may find yourself asking, why this season? Why now? But the seasons do not answer. They simply are. In their silent wisdom, they remind you that every phase of life has its purpose, even if that purpose is not immediately clear. Think of the way a river carves its path through the earth. It does not rage against the rocks that block its way, nor does it lament the bends that slow its progress. It flows, patient and persistent, shaping the land as it moves. Over time, the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become part of its beauty, their jagged edges softened by the water's gentle embrace. You too are shaped by the challenges you encounter. They are not mistakes or interruptions, but integral to the course of your journey. Each twist and turn, each detour and delay is a part of the story that only you can tell. In the quiet moments of reflection, you may begin to see the patterns that emerge in your life. The people you meet, the experiences you have, the lessons you learn. They are not random but interconnected, like stars in a constellation. At first glance, they may seem scattered, unrelated, but as you step back and observe with an open heart, a picture begins to form. It is a picture of meaning, of purpose, of a life that is not haphazard, but deeply intentional. Even the moments of pain and confusion have their place, for they carve the depths of your soul and allow the light of understanding to shine through. There is a story told in the ancient Buddhist tradition of a farmer whose horse runs away. His neighbors lament, "What bad luck?" But the farmer replies, "Who knows what is good or bad?" Days later, the horse returns, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors exclaim, "What good luck?" Again, the farmer says, "Who knows what is good or bad?" When his son tries to tame one of the wild horses and breaks his leg, the neighbors once more lament, "What bad luck?" And once more, the farmer responds, "Who knows what is good or bad?" Soon after, war breaks out, and all the young men are drafted, except for the farmer's son, who cannot fight because of his injury. The neighbors again say, "What good luck?" And the farmer, as always, replies, "Who knows what is good or bad?" This story is not about indifference, but about the wisdom of acceptance. It invites you to release the need to label every event as fortunate or unfortunate, and instead to trust in the unfolding of life. What appears as a setback may be a blessing in disguise. What seems like a triumph may carry hidden challenges. The farmer's equanimity is not a denial of feeling, but a recognition that the true nature of events is often beyond our understanding. In this recognition, there is peace, a peace that arises not from controlling life, but from surrendering to its mysteries. You may find yourself walking through a dense forest, where the sunlight filters through the canopy in patches of gold and green. The path ahead is uncertain, and you cannot see where it leads. Yet with each step, you trust that the ground will hold you, that the trees will guide you, that the air will sustain you. You do not need to know the destination to move forward. You only need to take the next step. And in that step, there is a quiet confidence, a knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. As you journey through life, you will encounter moments of joy and sorrow, clarity and confusion, connection and solitude. Each moment is a thread in the fabric of your existence, and each thread has its place. You may not always understand the pattern, but you can trust in the weaver, the unseen hand that guides the loom. In this trust, there is freedom, a release from the burden of trying to make sense of everything. You are free to simply be, to live with an open heart and a curious mind, to embrace the mystery of it all. And so, as you stand by the tranquil lake, watching the ripples spread across its surface, you may begin to feel a sense of belonging, not to any particular place or time, but to the vast, interconnected web of life. You are part of something greater, something that transcends your individual story. In this recognition, there is a profound peace, a peace that comes from knowing that nothing is wasted, that everything has meaning, and that you are exactly where you are meant to be. The world unfolds like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread woven with intention, though the pattern may remain hidden to your eyes. You stand at the edge of this weaving, your breath mingling with the quiet hum of existence, and you wonder, why this moment, why this feeling, why this turn of events? The mind, ever restless, seeks to unravel the threads, to trace them back to their origins, to find meaning in the chaos. But meaning is not something to be found. It is something to be felt, to be lived, to be accepted as the quiet current beneath the surface of your life. Imagine a forest in the early hours of dawn. The light filters through the canopy in soft, golden beams, and the air is thick with the scent of dew and earth. Each leaf, each blade of grass, each creature stirring in the underbrush exists in perfect harmony, though none is aware of the greater design. A bird sings not because it understands the purpose of its song, but because the song is its nature. A tree grows not because it seeks to reach the sky, but because growth is its essence. The forest does not question its existence, it simply is. And in its being, it reveals a truth that the mind often overlooks, that life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be embraced. You too are a part of this mystery, a thread in the tapestry, a whisper in the forest. The events of your life, the joys and sorrows, the triumphs and failures, are not random occurrences, but moments in a larger unfolding. They are the brushstrokes of a painting you cannot yet see in its entirety. To say that nothing happens by chance is not to suggest that every event is preordained, but rather that every event is interconnected, a part of the ever-flowing river of existence. You may not always understand the why, but you can trust in the flow, in the natural rhythm of life that carries you forward. There is a story of a monk who sat by a river, watching the water flow past. Day after day, he would return to the same spot, observing the currents, the eddies, the way the light danced on the surface. One day, a traveler approached him and asked, "Why do you sit here? What do you see?" The monk smiled and replied, "I see the river. It flows where it must, and I sit where I am. There is nothing more to see." The traveler, unsatisfied, pressed further. "But surely there is a deeper meaning?" The monk chuckled softly. "The meaning is in the flowing, not in the seeking. To sit by the river is to understand that life is not a question to be answered, but a moment to be lived. You too can sit by the river of your life, not as an observer, but as a participant. You can allow yourself to be carried by the currents, trusting that they will lead you where you need to go. The river does not rush. It moves with a quiet certainty, a deep knowing that all is as it should be. And yet the mind often resists this flow. It clings to the banks, fearful of the unknown, desperate to control the direction of the water. But control is an illusion, a construct of the ego that seeks to impose order on the chaos. True peace comes not from controlling the river, but from surrendering to it, from allowing yourself to be carried by its gentle embrace. In the stillness of surrender, you may begin to notice the subtle beauty of the journey. The way the sunlight glimmers on the water, the way the breeze carries the scent of blooming flowers, the way the river bends and twists, creating new paths where none seem to exist. These are not random occurrences, but moments of grace, reminders that life is not a straight line, but a meandering path, full of unexpected turns and hidden treasures. Each bend in the river, each twist in the road, is an invitation to let go, to trust, to embrace the unknown with an open heart. There is a Buddhist teaching that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. This is not a promise of external guidance, but a reminder that wisdom is always available to you if you are willing to listen. The teacher may be a person, a book, a moment of stillness, or the river itself. The form does not matter. What matters is your readiness to receive the lesson, your willingness to open your heart to the truth that is already within you. You do not need to seek wisdom. You only need to be present, to listen to the whispers of your own soul. And yet presence is not always easy. The mind is a restless wanderer, always seeking, always questioning, always doubting. It clings to the past, to memories of what was, and it fears the future, to visions of what might be. But the past is gone, and the future is not yet here. All that exists is this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. To be present is to let go of the mind's endless chatter, to return to the simplicity of being, to the quiet stillness that lies beneath the surface of your thoughts. In this stillness, you may begin to sense the deeper currents of your life, the unseen forces that guide you, the subtle connections that bind you to all that is. You may begin to understand that nothing is truly separate, that you are not an isolated being, but a part of the vast web of existence. Every breath you take is a gift from the trees. Every step you take is a dance with the earth. Every word you speak is a ripple in the ocean of consciousness. You are not separate from the world. You are the world, expressing itself in this unique and precious form. And so, when you find yourself in moments of doubt or confusion, when the path ahead seems unclear, remember the river. Remember that it flows where it must, that it carries you with a quiet certainty, that it knows the way even when you do not. Trust in the flow, in the natural rhythm of life that moves through you and around you. Trust that every moment, every experience, every encounter has a purpose. Even if that purpose is not immediately clear, trust that you are exactly where you need to be, even if it does not feel that way. In the end, the journey is not about reaching a destination, but about embracing the path, about finding peace in the midst of the unknown. It is about learning to see the beauty in the imperfections, the wisdom in the challenges, the grace in the ordinary moments. It is about understanding that life is not something to be mastered, but something to be lived moment by moment, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. And in this living, in this presence, you may begin to sense the deeper truth, that nothing happens by chance, that everything has meaning, that you are exactly where you are meant to be.